The rise of Deepseek, developed at a fraction of the cost of US competitors, may be too cheap to be true, but the markets are spooked. Its open source model has wiped off huge amounts of value from rivals. Chipmakers Nvidia, the star stock of the last year, suffered the biggest one-day loss in history. The rise of Deepseek has also reignited discussion about economic competition between the US and China.
Well, this is very unusual when you hear a Deepseek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas, we're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution.
Deepseek is picky or thin-skinned. There are topics it can't or won't answer, or answers and then deletes. This detailed response to US-Taiwan tensions just vanishes, for example. And ask it a seemingly humorous question based on popular past memes that liken Xi Jinping to Winnie the Pooh, and you're met with stony silence. But this advance in AI underlines China's global presence as nations jockey to lead in the technology. It's a presence that could even be used to end the war in Ukraine, at least according to President Trump, who mused as much to world leaders at Davos last week.
Hopefully China can help us stop the war with, in particular, Russia, Ukraine. They have a great deal of power over that situation.
But is it Chinese intervention in global conflicts alongside America or at the expense of America? And what of tariffs, Trump's favorite word? Now the president has said he plans to impose tariffs on computer chips imported into the US, which could potentially harm allies in Taiwan, South Korea and Japan. Will that seal US economic dominance or be the beginning of a move to embrace Chinese innovation at the expense of the United States? Well, with me now from Vancouver is Dr. Gary Marcus, a leading AI expert and author of Taming Silicon Valley. And in Beijing is Victor Gao, the Vice President of the Center for China and Globalization, who previously worked closely with former Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping. Welcome to you both. Let me start with you, Dr. Marcus. How big of a deal is Deepseek? Is this the Sputnik moment of the AI competition?
It certainly redefines the race. It's not the solution to artificial general intelligence. It's not much smarter than earlier models, but it's a lot cheaper. That fundamentally changes the economics, and it brings China, basically up to speed with the U.S. And so it reshuffles the global political game.
There is some skepticism among some experts about how cheap it actually is and how many chips it has used. Is that justified skepticism, or can we believe what we're being told by Deepseek?
I think it's probably roughly true. They made a bunch of optimizations that make sense, having read the paper. We'll find out in very short order because a lot of people are replicating it. But it would be kind of crazy for them to make all this press and then not have something that's replicable. They would burn their reputation in a matter of weeks. So I think it's probably at least roughly true.
Victor Gao, thank you very much, first of all, for getting up at an unearthly hour in the middle of the night in Beijing. It's good to have you back on the program. What is the point of Deepseek if you can't ask it the question, what happened in Tiananmen Square?
Well, first of all, I think the breakthrough by Deepseek means AI is not American intelligence. It means AI should be artificial intelligence for mankind. It also means that there is not one single pathway in the development of AI, and no one has a monopoly of AI. And countries like China and many other countries all have a right to participate in AI and make their contribution to the development of AI. Now, Deepseek is also very intelligent in itself, and it is really thinking deeply and seeking deeply, and it also knows the sensitivities. Now, we need to acknowledge that for every culture, every civilization, anywhere in the world, there are sensitivities. And from Deepseek's perspective, they recognize the sensitivities and they want to further explore all the other possibilities. And that means Deepseek is very sophisticated rather than just a blundering machine.
Right.
It is
Gary Marcus,
intelligence enabling people to think.
Okay, Gary Marcus, I mean, you heard what Victor Gao had to say there. Is it possible that Deepseek won't respect the sensibilities of the Chinese government? Is that how it could work?
I mean, I would caution about calling these systems intelligent. The way that DeepSeek works is the way that all large language models work, which is it statistically predicts what people say in context without really having a great conceptual understanding. And then people add guardrails on top. And so there are already some videos where the thing says some things that don't reflect the sensitivities, as my colleague here has put it. And then the system actually deletes them after the fact. That's telling you actually that there are two systems, one that does not understand those sensitivities, as he put it, and another that tries to enforce them after the fact. These systems are not that intelligent. They're not artificial general intelligence. I've called them autocomplete on steroids, and what we have is a cheaper version of autocomplete on steroids. We don't have a genuine intelligence here, not yet.
Victor Gao, how will AI change the lives of ordinary Chinese citizens?
Well, from the Chinese perspective, AI is everywhere. We are already in the middle of this AI revolution, and AI revolution is truly a tsunami. It will change and shape and reshape everything we do as human beings, as a company, as an institution, as a government entity, as a culture, as a civilization. Therefore, AI is all embracive, and no one can stop it. And there is no monopoly of AI. No one should indulge in the fantasy that it can achieve a monopoly in AI and deny other country or other cultures their right to participate in this AI revolution.
Okay, just briefly on tariffs. I mean, Donald Trump has threatened Chinese tariffs against China over and over again. He hasn't mentioned them so much in the last week, but is that something that could really, harm the Chinese economy and the AI part of it? Briefly.
Well, for the tariffs to be imposed by the United States on Chinese exports to the United States, let's be very honest. China does not pay a single penny of these tariffs. It is the American people who pay the tariffs. In a sense, the tariffs are U.S. tax against the American people. It will not scare off the Chinese people. It will make Chinese export painful in other ways. Therefore, I think President Trump, in his second term, will be smarter and more sophisticated, and will realize, despite of all his bluffing, that tariffs are limited in their use, and hopefully he will not view China as the ultimate antagonist, because if he does, then his second term will not be a administration.
Sorry, Victor, we've run out of time. We've run out of time. Gary Marcus, we've run out of time, but thank you to both of you.